the most driven footballer I've ever seen.
He is my hardest opponent that I've ever played on.
He's just been an ornament to the game and is still playing really high-level footy.
There were some great players who have played for the club, and you think of Keary, and you think of Blight and Cracker and Cable and Schimmelbusch and Greg, and you could probably go on. But Boom was right up there with them.
I mean, it's remarkable. We never thought that Tucky's record would have been passed, and we'll think that this one will never get broken as well.
Playing another 130 games than what I've played now, no thanks. I don't know how he's doing it, man. He looks like he'll play another 2 or 3 years. He's a freak.
The old and the new. Jens tries to track him down. Oh, he speeds away.
He sensed blood. Like when I was playing on him, he knew your weakness to a T. Unbelievable career, and yeah, the best player I think I've ever played on.
It's ridiculous at his age that when you sit down and look at the opposition team, that one of your primary focuses is on a 38-year-old.
Boom's record is second to none, and he's been a wonderful player for the Kangaroos, and it's amazing. Just keeps on keeping on. I don't know how long you keep going. Every time I look at you, I watch you on the weekend, Boom. I got you down for another 3 years.
Harvey's going to do it again, and he does. He is hot.
He is an incredible role model for all of our current day players, but the legacy he's going to leave our club for generations into the future is just going to be incredible.
I'm excited. I'm excited because I get to share it with so many people, and there's so many people that's helped me along the way as well. So when I do run out and break that record, it's not just for me. This is for everyone.
In anticipation, we say congratulations, Brent Harvey, and welcome.
Thank you very much, guys, for having me.
Been on Media Street a bit this week, haven't you?
Yeah, I can't help it this week. I've been roped into a few things, so but all good. I mean, you've got to embrace the situation. You can hide from it or you can embrace it. I guess got no choice. I've got to embrace it.
What's the one question you've been asked more than any other this week?
Has it sunk in yet?
Oh, Jared was going to ask you that.
I wonder if it sinks in at a certain gathering when 9 of the top 10 players who, in terms of games, gather, and you're in the room, with Michael Tuck and Kevin Bartlett and Dustin Fletcher.
Look at that. Simon Madden.
Craig Bradley, yes, and Adam Goods.
Brent Johnson.
Did it feel quite real when you were in that room with them?
Leading into it, I was really nervous. I was really, really nervous, and that was probably the first time I really sat back and thought about, it was a lunch and put on sort of for me. And the walk in, I mean, growing up, Robert Harvey was unbelievable. I used to love him. Craig Bradley played against, but used to love watching him play as well. Then you got the 400 Club guys and Adam Goods, Brad Johnson, who's an amazing person. It was a little bit embarrassing, to be honest, to be there, walking into the room and seeing Simon Madden and these type of guys there for me.
Who organised that, Bert?
I think Patrick Keane from the AFL. Yeah, unbelievable. It was a great day. Light lunch, just some sandwiches and some rolls and stuff like that, and got up and had some photos, and the boys all took off their way. I mean, Adam Goods flew down, and I said, "Oh, how long are you hanging around for? A couple of days?" He goes, "I'm off now." I mean, just flew down for a couple of photos. It was unbelievable.
Is it true that they spontaneously signed your jumper?
They did, yeah. We had this jumper there. Heath O'Loughlin, our media manager, had this there, and they all signed the jumper. So I think we signed 2. I'm hoping I get one at some
stage. What did they use? A white pen, did they?
Yeah, no, it would be a pretty good memorabilia piece, wouldn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So I think everybody was there except for Bernie Quinlan. Unfortunately, had a prior engagement. So, yeah.
This is the jumper you're wearing on Saturday night?
Yeah, all the boys will be wearing that jumper. Yeah.
This exact one, do you know?
That's the one. That's the material. That's the Canterbury one that we run out in. So
29 on the back.
I dare say that would probably be it.
Oh, no, I was going to steal that one, but I better leave it for you.
I'll leave that one. It might be short.
So less has it sunk in, and more. Do you understand what it is?
I do understand what it is now. Obviously, this week I've had a lot more time to reflect than previous weeks. I still had games to get through to get to this stage. I guess for me, it's an opportunity to reflect on where I've came from. I was lucky enough to do a documentary with David King, who did an amazing job. I went back to my old footy ground, Preston Arrowsale, down in Preston, where I grew up, and met one of my first coaches, Jamie Colf. We then went to Kramer Street in Preston and met Keith Burns, who was my under-18 coach at Northern Knights, and then we ended up at Arden Street with Dennis Pagan. So I think for me it's a time to reflect on where I've came from, how many people have helped me along the way. I mean, I can chuck Dennis Pagan, Brad Scott, Dean Laidley obviously into that mix. Parents, mum and dad, friends, every single person that's worked at the footy club over a long period of time. 21 years I've been there for. So for me, it's about representing everybody and not just me.
Lunch aside, you're driving around Melbourne and I'm listening to the radio and everyone's talking about you. Arch, Kingy, everyone.
Yeah.
What's it like to be driving along down Punt Road or wherever you're driving out the Eastern Freeway and...
I'm at training most of the time, Robbo.
Right?
I'm at training most of the time, so I missed most of it. I did hear Glenn Archer. I was on the way home from training the other night, and I must admit, it was the first time I've actually heard somebody else talk about me on radio and not just answer one question.
Yep.
It was probably 3 or 4 questions. And for someone like Glenn Archer to talk the way he did about me was, again, it was a little bit embarrassing.
It's interesting, Arch, because people talk about all-time greats, and your name doesn't get mentioned. And Archer always said, not always, he's probably said to me 5 times, why don't you guys ever put Brent Harvey
I'm happy not to be
in that group?
I'm happy not to be in that group, Robbo, don't worry.
I'm not putting you down when I say that, but he thinks, and it must be, he thinks you're the great, I think one of the great...
Yeah, and that's,
greatest player ever played.
Because I think he's one of the greatest players.
So do I, yeah.
And a lot of people would agree with you as well that he's the, shin bone of the century. So if I have someone like Glenn Archer and these type of guys to speak about you, yeah, it is very humbling.
As you know, I sat with the old man for a couple of hours on Tuesday.
Yes, he did mention that.
When you first found out I was doing that, were you thinking, oh, that's good, or were you thinking, oh no, what's going to happen here?
The latter. I was thinking Dad could go anywhere with this and give up some of my secrets that I've tried to hold on to for a long period of time. So
they're not secrets, you know what it was? It's who you are, it's your history, it's your family, it's where you grew up, it's where you helped develop your what you want in life and your standards in life. The old man's a knockabout sort of bloke, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, absolutely.
Footy in the winter, cricket in the summer. Still playing cricket at 63. Yeah. And he just told stories about you, Boom, and I reckon you might even cry when you read it.
When's that, Saturday?
That's in Saturday's Herald Sun.
I'll make sure I have a read. He did remind me. I seen him today. I was with him for a couple of hours today, and he said, "Make sure you buy the paper on Saturday morning, won't you?" I said,
"Oh yeah." As if you'll be thinking about that. I mean, your family's going to be on the ground.
Yeah, they will. I mean, it's going to be good. Saturday, I've got a normal day because my son plays basketball. I'll go watch him. My daughter plays netball. I'll probably go watch her if I've got time. Then I'll come home and I might even go to a bit of local footy and watch my brother play. So
he's killing it at North Heidelberg, isn't he?
He's still getting a kick, which is good. So, I mean, my routine's nothing special. It's there, and I'll see a couple of mates at the local footy, and then I'll go do my stuff on a Saturday night. So that's the way I've been brought up, to make sure you hang around with your friends and remember where you come from.
Your father played me a video that you put up on your Facebook.
Which one?
The one about every single person out there who told me I was too small.
Yep. That
I couldn't beat a tag, that I was too selfish, that I'd never make it. Your father cried.
Did he?
Yeah, when he watched that video. There's a real strong message in that from you, isn't there, in that video? And people will put it on the website or get it out later, but it was a pretty strong message from you in that, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, and everyone will have their own opinion about that video as well. Some will say it's great, some will say it was stupid. But I mean, footy's an opinionated sport, and everyone gets their say, unfortunately or fortunately. But for me, I've had my doubters along the way, no doubt. But that's all part of it. It motivates me, to tell you the truth, to prove people wrong.
Did it ever not motivate you? Did you ever believe that they could be right, or were you just pig-headed that you were, no way, I'll show you?
I think early days, really early days, you think maybe I am too small. But then once you cross that white line on a footy field and I get to do what I do and these bigger guys can't catch me, that's when I was really confident. And I thought, no worries, you might be a foot taller than me and a couple of kilos heavier, but it doesn't bother me when I'm out there.
Was game 426 the game as the same as game 26, for instance? Has footy moved much for you?
Yeah, it's changed a fair bit for me. I think I've said this before, but I started with Dennis and things were different under Dennis. I remember my first game, I came on and I think it was halfway through the second quarter, literally for 3 or 4 minutes. You don't get a touch because someone got dragged, but we need to get that player back on the ground, probably an Anthony Stevens or Anthony Rock. So you're only out there for a couple of minutes to strut your stuff, and unfortunately I didn't do too much that game, but Dennis seen enough in me to make me hang around for a long time.
Now, can I just follow, when you park the car,
Yep.
is that do you have the same feelings you had 18 years ago as you will on Saturday night?
Yeah, I love the preparation part of football. I love eating pasta the night before a game, watching the football on TV, waking up in the morning,
reading the Herald Sun.
Yeah, reading the Herald Sun, see what Dad's got to say.
Have a spark, have a spark.
Have a couple of sparks, Robbo, absolutely. But there's something happens in my belly that I really like, and that's something that I really miss when I finish playing football, that preparation and knowing what's going to happen in a couple of hours' time. You know, the unknown type of thing. It's 22 versus 22, and that's what tickles my fancy. I love getting out there and trying to perform and doing my role or doing my bit for the team to get the 4 points.
Because you played for so long and footy club's such a great place and you get attached to people, how many best friends have you had at the footy club? And who has been all the way through? And I mean, that's a serious question because people come and go out of, what, how many years now? 18 years?
21, Robbo.
21 years.
I've been fortunate enough to grow up with a bunch of guys, and I'm talking away from football now, so I can get away from footy.
So you're Preston lads?
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
They're my core group of friends. And don't get me wrong, boys the Kangas boys that are watching, I love yous too. But I've still got those core group that I still see every day and still speak to on the phone every single day, and they'll always be my best friends. I don't want to name too many people, but
that's a great answer, Boom. I don't think I just learned something about you that I didn't know.
Yeah,
because a lot of people go to the footy and they become best friends.
Yeah, no, I got some great mates. I mean, I live with Drew Petrie and he's been there for 16 years with me. Daniel Harris, I class as one of my very best mates. I got drafted the same year as Stewie Cochrane, who ended up at Port Adelaide. I was best man at his wedding, best man at Daniel Harris's wedding. So, been in Drew's wedding. So,
how many weddings have you been in?
I've been in a couple. Those type of guys, Adam Simpson, Glenn Archer, Anthony Stevens, these are the guys I love. Like, I love ringing them and talking to them. Yeah. They're mentors. They're not only friends, they're mentors and someone to put your arm around and have a chat with every now and then. It's unbelievable.
What about when you mix the Preston crew with the AFL crew and throw them all in together?
No, they go all right, actually. They tend to mix okay, so I've been very lucky there.
Which crew would you back in a fight?
Yeah, probably the Preston boys, I think.
Archer?
Oh, Archer would go all right, but I reckon the other boys might have the best.
True.
Across the journey, Brent, the sense of self versus the sense of team and where the balance, I imagine it swings a little bit in and out, and I suspect right now it's very deep in the sense of team. Have you had grapples along the way where...
Yeah, no doubt.
Yep.
Yeah, no doubt. I think with different coaches you get different coaching experiences, and I guess some coaches encourage you to go out there and play with a lot of flair and celebrate and do other things. There's other coaches that would say, hey, don't worry about that, you just kick the goal and get back and do what you have to do. But I think for me, there was stages in my career, and I think Brad's even said this, to the media before, that they don't rely on me or Drew or Daniel Wells or people like that getting the job done for us. And so much more now under Brad, I realise the importance of role playing. And he's been amazing. Brad Scott has been absolutely amazing for me. He's asked me to do different roles this year. I'm spending more time up forward, and I just like going out and pleasing the coach, to be honest. Whatever the coach needs me to do, I do. But there was a period in the time where I thought, the club needs me to stand up and take 7 bounces and try to kick a goal and do stupid things like that you'd probably get carried away with and forget about the team sometimes.
Just a quick one. The first criticism I ever heard from you from a coach was when Dean Ladley said, Boomer has it 33 times, but he's only got the ball in his hand for 3 minutes. Yep. What's he doing for the other 98 minutes of the game? And that made me think, God, that's a really good,
it was fantastic.
Really interesting point from, and not just you, it made me think about all the superstars saying, and it made me think the game's changing.
The game's changed because you're clearly talking about defence as well. You need to tackle, chase, pressure and all that sort of stuff. So, and that was a part of the game. I was putting so much effort into my offensive game. The defensive game was probably slipping away a little bit. But when someone like Dean Ladley hits you up about something like that, you certainly learn to change that very quickly.
So the record breaker piece is just to your left there. This is available from rougeshop.com.au. So that recounts the glory, the magnificence of a career from a young fella through to the record breaker. Hey, so last one. Are you excited? Are you genuinely excited for Saturday night?
No, I am. My youngest boy, Hudson, he wouldn't remember running out last year on the 400, so he kept saying to me, how many more sleeps, Dad, till we run out?
What about your oldest boy, who's about 15, 16 now, isn't he?
Yeah, no, Cooper's 12. He's been out 7 times, I think he said the other day. So, and then Lacey,
7 times?
Yeah, and Lacey's really just started to enjoy her football, so she's excited as well. And like I said before, Jared, it's a chance for me to reflect. I played with some guys in my junior careers that were very good footballers but never had a chance to play one game of AFL footy. So I'm doing this for them. I'm doing it for my family. I'm doing it for my friends.
Yeah. And you carry all of us with you, including your lad there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And his mate Nate, who's along for
Yeah,
the ride.
lucky he's his mate. Should be home in bed.
It's good initiative.
Yeah,
good luck. Good luck. It's a hell of an occasion.
Well done, Chief.
Thanks very much.
Brent Harvey with us on AFL 360.